for your organization, and that's going to translate to a great customer experience. And for us, I think this is really a transformation that's happening across many of our organizations today. And it's being driven by a number of different factors. There's sort of a confluence of different trends that are happening in the space today. Some of them are related to our people, some of them are related to our technologies. On the people side, it's really, we've never had more of a diverse workforce. Multiple generations that we're collaborating and working with today. I think by 2020, something like 5 different generations that are coming together in the workplace to do work. The other big area of transformation is around the technology and tools that we use. I'm sure you're all very familiar, so BYOA, bring your own application, BYOD, bring your own device. More and more, we're bringing our own applications, we're bringing our own tools into the workplace. We're choosing the tools that we want to use. I'm sure if everyone here, I can see it on the tables, but you all have your smartphone. In many cases, that wasn't corporate issued. Sometimes you're bringing your own laptop, you're bringing your own tools to the table, and what's happening as a result of that is that there's greater fragmentation around the tools that we're using. There's never been so much fragmentation. We're collaborating and we're working in different applications, and what that creates is a little bit of a mishmash of different applications in the workplace. It becomes far more difficult to be able to connect with our employees to ensure alignment. I think it was Travis earlier in the talk that you gave that talked about your organization, the transformation that was happening, going from 30 to 300 people, and the alignment challenges that happen with that. The knowledge management challenges that arise because of that. And when you think about your employees using so many different tools and technologies, how do you reach them? How do you surface that knowledge? How do you make sure that they're moving in the right direction, in the same direction? And in a lot of ways, those are some of the impacts that we're seeing. And one of the things that I wanted to, in the 9 minutes, I'm really fearful of getting hauled off the stage by those pliers, so I don't want to be the first one to do that, so please keep me honest. The steps for digital transformation and what that looks like. One of the first steps is before you can solve the problem, before you can provide a solution, you need to understand the problem. You need to understand how your employees work today, and there's many different tools you can use to accomplish that. Things like user personas, journey maps, talking to your employees, observing them, looking at how they work, how they collaborate today. In our organizations, and if we think about how we work today, we have different personas. It's what do I need as an individual to get my work done? It's how do I work with teams within my department, maybe cross-functional? And then there's the persona of the organization as a whole. And how do we bring everybody together when we think about the technology, the tools, and the fragmentation that's happening? And it starts with just understanding your workforce, understanding what tools they need to be successful, understanding what motivates them, and being able to map that. The second piece is really about identifying the opportunities across your organization. When you talk about digital tools, there's really an opportunity to have greater transparency across your organization. There's an opportunity to bring people together and to connect them. And this is really about identifying some of those opportunities, looking at those, the things that you can seize. And again, back to Travis's comments, corporate communications, aligning people, saying this is the flag on the hill, being able to have tools that bring people together and show them the path. The second piece is around knowledge management, being able to surface the insights that reside in people's heads. And more, that knowledge, it lives in your head, it lives in our applications, our email, it lives in our documents, and how do you surface that? And it's important to be able to identify those opportunities. Once you've done that, what we see, one of the key success factors is being able to create a destination, creating a single place to bring people to. One of the reasons why it's so complicated today because of all the applications that we're using is there's no front door anymore, right? Where do I start? Where do I begin my day inside an organization? And creating that destination for your employees, that common place, no matter what tool they're using. They could use Slack, they could use Skype for chatting, you might use Dropbox, you might use a pile of different tools, but there's that one common place that brings people back together and ensures alignment. Other key piece, you need to resource it. You need to resource it like you mean it. When you're building out a digital destination, you need to put people, you need to put investment behind it. It's something that you can't just build it and they will come, to quote lovely Kevin Costner. You have to put more resources behind it, and that's really critical to being successful. The last piece I would say is it's a journey, right? This is when you talk about the transformation that's happening inside your organizations, it's not a project, it's not something that's going to start and stop, it's ongoing. Your business is constantly transforming, it's constantly evolving. Your employees are changing, your business is changing, and it has to. For an organization to survive, it has to evolve. And when we talk about digital transformation and creating a destination, that has to evolve with you. My example of SharePoint earlier, I saw some people put up their hands, chuckle a little bit about outdated SharePoints that nobody used, legacy platforms that nobody used, and it's because they don't evolve. They don't change, they don't evolve with the speed of your business, and that's critical. So, being conscious of time, I have two examples. I'm going to choose one. The two examples are Hulu. And so Hulu's not in Canada, but many of you may be familiar with them. Maybe you steal the signal from the US, and you're very tech savvy. Hulu is very much like Netflix, video streaming company. They're an organization that is growing rapidly. When we first started talking to them, they had 700 employees across multiple different offices. They had a series of different tools, but no central location. They had a growing employee base. And they also had a very unique culture. And you can see that sort of reflected in their community as well. They wanted a platform that would be able to embody who they are as an organization, be able to bring people together. And they called it Huluverse. They call their people hooligans. They have this destination that is the common place where all their employees go. And it aligns them. It tells them what they need to know about the strategy of the organization, new products and services, and the roadmap and the direction for technology. It tells them about HR, policies and procedures, the things that they need to know, the resources that they need to get access to. And this is the jumping off point. They don't just use Igloo. They use many different tools. Their technology team uses a set of tools. Different groups are using different technologies to get their job done because it's all about what makes me productive, but they all have this common place to come back to, and that is critical. And Hulu's an organization now that's about 1,700 employees, so a good example. This applies to mid-sized organization. It applies to the biggest of the big. This is Nextel, international telecommunications company. That need to have that common destination amidst all the change that's happening inside our organizations today is critical. And so I'll leave with one parting note, and that is just imagine what your workplace could be like. Imagine a workplace where people are connected to the strategy. They understand where the organization is going. There's alignment to that direction, and people understand it. They see the yellow brick road. They know. They're happily, merrily skipping along. They know where you're going, and they're in alignment with that. There's a sense of community. There's a feeling that you're all in this together. There's a feeling that you're part of one organization, no matter where you're located, no matter what you do, what department, what title you hold. And employees know how you operate, right? And culture is really about how you operate, how you organize yourself, and being able to provide that direction is critical. And so when we talk about digital transformation, we talk about the trends that are impacting how we work today. It's really about creating a destination that can humanize. Technology tools are typically thought of as cold. It's all about productivity. It's all about getting more out of our people. Technology can also be very, very human and can embody who your organization represents. And keep that in mind when you're thinking about the challenges that you face. Thank you.